Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's conversation. It's going to be a conversation. We're not going to have slides. We are going to speak from our heads and try and understand how we can be able to build our personal brands, how to invest in our personal brands. What is a brand in the first place? And none knows personal branding like Grace. I have a lot of reasons why to say what I've just said, but now one of the people that knows personal branding is Grace Nzula, the moderator of choice. We'll discover why I'm saying that she knows the practical aspects of personal branding and what are the benefits of personal branding. But before we dive into the discussion of personal branding, this particular program has been sponsored by several organizations, and I will allow Grace Nzula to be able to tell us some of these sponsors such that we can be able to appreciate them for having given us the chance to be able to be here. Grace Nzula, moderator of choice, you can go ahead and tell us the sponsors of this particular program tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Richard. Unfortunately, being a speaker, I don't like doing this, but Kevin is, I saw like he's in Ghana or something. So I guess we are here. Anyway, so this is Get It Right with Atara Solutions, and it's brought to you by Balcon Housing. Balcon Housing is a real estate and property management company. They deal in property management and they also sell land. So if you're looking to sell a piece of land or you're looking to buy a piece of land, then Balcon Housing will be your best people. And then we have Stallion Construction Company. Stallion Construction Company, like the name spells it, is a construction firm. They are located in Nairobi as well. If you're looking to renovate your house, if you're looking to renovate your office, if you're looking to change anything around your house, for example, the interiors, you want blinds in the office, you actually just need anything around the house, replacing tiles, then Stallion Construction Company Limited, that is their core business. And then we have Pathway Solution Services. Pathway Solution Services is a HR firm. They do trainings and they've been offering our audience trainings on their LMS platform. LMS is Learning Management System where you self-pace. They have also been offering free trainings for different organizations on Zoom or Google Meet. So if you're here and you're looking to get a chance to train your organization, you can just write to us and we'll be sharing the offers for today. And then we have Institute of Pension Management. Institute of Pension Management, like the name spells it, is a pension management membership organization, but as much they also have a college. The college offers CHRP. So if you're an HR here and you're looking to take on your CHRP, then Institute of Pension Management will be able to support you on that. And then we have Fina Gardens. Fina Gardens Resort is a resort located along Moi South Lake in Naivasha. They have such a quiet place. We were there last week for the HR conference as well. Some people were spending the night there, and it's such a beautiful place. So if you're around Naivasha and you're looking for a place to stay or you're looking for a place for holiday, they have an awesome swimming pool, they have beautiful rooms, and their food is excellent. And then we have Essence Park. Essence Park is a health and safety company. They actually do waste management. They also do trainings on their OSH trainings. OSH is Occupation Health and Safety. If you're looking to train your people on fire safety, fire marshals, and if you're looking for first aiders as well as your committee, then Essence Park will be able to do that. We also have Panessa's Training Institute. Sorry. We have Panessa Training Institute. Panessa Training Institute trains people on carpentry and woodworking. So if you're here and you have always wanted to repair your seats, or you always wanted to work with your hands, then Panessa Training Institute will be able to support you on that. And then we have WeClean. WeClean have a machine that cleans carpet within 6 minutes. So they pick up your carpet today and they return it tomorrow, beautifully done and clean and all that. And then we have, so if you want to get in touch with them, you can get in touch with me, or you can check them out on Instagram and Facebook. They call themselves WeClean. Last week, they were actually nominated for an award. They did not win, but it was amazing that the fact that they could get nominated. And then we have Kapula Mintito. Kapula Mintito is a They are specialists in coastal snacks. If you know CMOS gel, if you know Mabuyu, if you know cashew nuts, then Kapula Mintito do that. Then we have the Career Management Center, and then we have Ames College of Business and Technology. And I think I've left out the Blue Concepts, Blue Concepts, yes. And then, yes, for 2022, I am so excited about this event. It's a busy, busy November as well. There is the Purpose First Leadership Summit and Purpose Impact Award Gala Dinner happening on the 4th of November. This is on Friday at the Trademark Hotel at the Village Market. Please come and join us. I will be the moderator at the event. Please make sure that you come and join us. Dinner is 6,000 physically and 2,500 virtually. Please, this is an event you cannot afford to miss on Friday, this Friday, from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Purpose First Leadership Summit. If you want to become a purpose leader, you better show up for this one. And then, of course, we have Profiles International with their Genos Emotional Intelligence Practitioner Certificate. If you want to become a certified emotional intelligence practitioner, then you need to take on this course. By the way, if you're a HR professionals on the call, please make sure you take this course because it really, really helps when you're doing your branding. Because this is part of branding, getting certified and becoming a professional in a number of things supports you. So Profiles International is running the Genos Emotional Intelligence. I know Rose is on the call. Please, Rose, let us know how we can get in touch with Profiles International. The course on psychometric assessment kicked off today as well. Beautiful, beautiful lessons. You guys should not miss some of these things. And of course, we have the event of the year. Oh my God, I'm so excited about this one. This is by none other than ourselves, Get It Right with the Tara Solutions. It's an amazing, amazing time of the year. We are looking forward to meeting you physically on the 18th of November from 5:30 p.m. all the way to late. And unfortunately, early bird is off, so we are not doing early bird anymore. The cost is 3,700. I hope you got a chance to book your slot. I will be sharing the link. I hope Jacinta is on the call. Please share the link on joining Meet and Greet on Get It Right. This is going to be an event like no other. You cannot afford to miss. Come, let's have fun. Let's have a conversation. We're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to have purposeful networking. We're going to have fun. We're going to have food. We're going to have drinks, like everything. Come, this is going to be the event of the year on the 18th of November, 2022. Back to you, Richard.
Grace Nzula, I love your energy. I love your enthusiasm. I'm laughing because I've seen Helen Musalia reminding you that HR people are going to have sports day. That is why I'm laughing. She wants to brand herself with the HR Sports Day. Thank you for reminding us, Helen. Grace, the moderator of choice. In my own estimation and approximation, you're a brand, and brands get listened to. But before we go, why should a brand be listened to? What is a personal brand? How do we differentiate a personal brand and what you've just told us, the events? The events are presented by particular brands. How do we make a difference between a personal brand and the brands that you've mentioned that have sponsored this particular evening?
Thank you very much for that question. When I was thinking about this session today, I was like, first of all, I'm winging it because I've been so busy to actually, so you better make sure that the questions are very practical. And yes, the people online, please make sure you ask very practical questions for this one. Yes. So in my definition, a personal brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. You got that?
Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
What people say about you.
What people say about you when you're not in the room. That is a personal brand. Of course, an organization brand is also as important as a personal brand because sometimes you want to outgrow, your personal brand sometimes outgrows your organization or the other way around. So you want to also grow both, okay? So the organization brand is your logos, it's your tagline, it's your color, the color you choose. But the personal brand is, again, the choices you make about what people should talk about you when you're not in the room.
Thank you very much, Grace, for that definition. That a brand is what people say about you, but there is a part that you play so that people will start thinking about you.
So I was hoping you'd go to the next question, because so there's a personal brand, which is the definition. So what do you do to create a personal brand? Okay. Because we normally say, if you do not tell people who you are, they are going to make sure, or they are going to come up with their own brand identity, or they're going to come with up with a definition of who you are, and they're still gonna brand you. So it's either you take control of your brand, or people will take control of your brand. So it's either. So you better control what people say about you than leave it open for people to make their guesses. Of course, they will always make their guesses, even when you have a brand. But you reduce the chances. And I'm seeing my good friends here saying, Grace, is that not gossip? And I'm tempted to say, please, Wafula Nabutola, can you Google what gossip is and tell us on the chat? Richard, let's continue.
Thank you for that very elaborate definition of what is a brand. You've mentioned that a brand can either be a collection or an accumulation of what you want people to think about you, how you control. So what are some of strategies or mechanisms or means and ways that you can be able to control what people, like, for example, like you are a brand, that is for sure, especially in the entrepreneurship space, especially in the HR space. How do you control the narrative? Because there is a story behind a brand. What are some of the strategies that you use in controlling what your audience should think about you?
Yeah, thank you, Richard. I call it the 3CI model, okay? The first C is creating. When you're creating, you have to define who you are, okay? Who are you? I remember, for example, just before I came into the limelight, I was an HR professional. So I sat down and realized, wait, I'm a HR professional, okay? Number two, what other skills do I have? I have always wanted to hold such sessions. In fact, if most of you don't know the origin of Get It Right, the whole purpose was to interview entrepreneurs, because I am fascinated by entrepreneurship. People who are in business have a way of thinking that's very different. And running a business is one of the hardest things to do, yet these people keep going. So the reason why Get It Right started was because I really wanted to tell the world that entrepreneurship is not a bed of roses. But then I realized you cannot have entrepreneurship without employment. So why not marry the two? Okay. So in creation, you sit down and ask yourself, who am I? Okay. What am I passionate about? All right. What do I want to put out there? Okay. What do I want when, for example, you are not here? What will people remember you for? Yeah. So during creation, some of these things are the ones that you sit down and come up with. Decide, okay, my name is Richard. Okay, fine. Richard, who is Richard? Richard is a HR professional. Richard enjoys public speaking. Richard enjoys reading. Richard enjoys all these things. Now, what would Richard do with all these things that he has to create impact into the society? Or where is Richard's passion, and what would Richard do even if it was not being paid? Yeah. So you coin all these things and decide, this is what the brand I want to create. Sometimes you actually start not knowing that you're actually growing a brand. You start by doing the right thing. You start by doing the things that you enjoy, and you actually end up building a brand. So the first one is create. The C number one is create. C number two is commissioning. Commissioning is sort of like a launch. you have to decide which platforms are you going to use to commission your brand. Are you going to be very vocal on WhatsApp? Are you going to be very vocal on LinkedIn? Are you going to be very vocal on newspapers? Are you going to be very vocal in your organization? Where is it that you're going to, which channel of communication are you going to use to commission your brand? How will people know about you? Okay. For example, everyone, even when Zoom increased their cost, we sat down and realized Get It Right has to be on Zoom because of 1, 2, 3 things that is aligned to our brand. We considered going to Google Meet. We could not take more than 100. Already on the call, we are 154, not counting Facebook. So you sit down and decide how will you commission your brand, and then consistently evaluate your brand positioning, or rather how you are commissioning your brand. Okay. Now, number 2, you must be consistent. I mean, number 3. This is C number 3. The first one is create. The second one is commission. The third one is consistency. You cannot build a brand if you do it today, and then the next time people hear about you is 2 months from now. They'll forget. You know the way we normally say something is trending? I don't know whether you've seen this. Something is trending in the news today. You know, like Githeri Man. How many people still remember Githeri Man? In fact, whenever you mention Githeri Man, it's either close to the elections or you're like, what happened to Githeri Man? And at some point, he was actually trending. So you ought to be very consistent with your building your brand. You cannot write one story on LinkedIn and decide I'm done. My brand is now going to grow. It can't be. Consistency, consistency, consistency is key when you're coming up with a brand. Because remember, you commissioned this brand to make a difference. In your creation, you made a decision about what this brand should do. So, and what this brand should be known for. So you cannot do that and then just give it tap on one day or so. Yeah. So you have to consistently put yourself out there. Now, number 4, the I is innovation. We are evolving creatures. We are people who move with the times. You cannot have the same brand. I mean, you cannot have the same narrative for 10 years. It's got to expand. It's got to grow beyond you. It's got to grow far and wide. You got to reach more people than the people you have always reached. So the I is very key because we are evolving creatures. You are people who you started with. For example, I can tell you, my friends were the very first people to log into these webinars in June 2020. In June 2020. My friends used to be number 1. Like they will be like, Grace, are we on? Yes, we are on. They log in. Nowadays, they're like, they choose which topics to log into. So innovation is very important because you get to reach a far wider scope. And as well, ask for feedback. Let people tell you whether you're on the right track or not. Let people tell you this is what we're expecting. Let people tell you this is how we identify with your brand. Yeah. If you do not seek feedback, then you cannot grow. So make sure, sometimes it's criticism. Like today I met a nature, I'm in Nakuru, by the way. If you're looking for an Airbnb, Monique, I'm advertising. If you're looking for an Airbnb, I am in Nakuru. So today I met one of our followers in Nakuru. And he said, Grace, you need to cut down on the time for the sponsors. That is feedback. Yeah. And I took it very positively. But I also explained to him that sometimes the first 5 minutes, we have to wait for people to log in. And then we only have 10 minutes. And this thing is free. So if we do not give airtime to our sponsors, we are going to come back and charge the audience because somebody has to pay for the Zoom, right? Eventually. So it's a give and take. You got to make decisions that are actually now in line with the brand. And then the value. Yeah. What is the value associated with your brand? You have to decide what voice are you going with for your brand? What tone are you going with? And in the tone, you also have to decide what is your tagline. For example, I am known as moderator of choice, but technically I'm an HR professional. Moderator is a brand I have chosen. I have just decided, you know what? I am very good at being a moderator and I don't mind going by that brand. I mean, by that tagline. Richard calls himself Audacious Richard or Drop the Mic. He's still yet to decide which one he wants to settle for. And Frida calls him the finest coach. So you have to be very intentional about some of the things that you choose. And please note, creativity is also welcome. If you're not creative, please seek support from your friends and from your colleagues and all these people. I get a lot of messages on WhatsApp, and none have I ever not responded to, because I rely on people. I'm a people. So feedback for me is very, very important. And feedback for you when you're coming up with your brand is very, very important. Yeah. And sometimes the brand can also take you in positions where you don't know anything. You know.
Thank you, Grace. That is very good. Now, the question is, like, Catherine is a brand in sign language. You've mentioned that for you to become a brand, you have to build certain skills so that you can be able to create a value proposition for your brand. So you need to do some skills assessment. Do we have reliable tools that can be able to assess, for example, Milka, so that she can be able to become a brand? Do we have scientific tools? Do we have scientific measurements of how I can be able to arrive of what competencies that I have so that I can be able to promote my brand?
Yes, we do. Profiles International runs the DISC. The DISC is DISC. And if you Google it, you can also find the DISC assessment. It actually, when it's explaining, it even tells you what careers are aligned to your personality. Oh yeah, I should have mentioned. Part of knowing who you are is also identifying your personality. Who are you as a person? Who are you? What are you comfortable with? Yeah. So for example, Richard is very good at writing. Richard is very good at verbal communication. So Richard will build a brand. Okay, let me also take us back a bit. If you're a brand, you got to choose a brand that you're comfortable with, because building a brand is very intentional. So if you're doing something that you're not comfortable with, chances are within 3 months, you're going to drop it. So you have to align your personality, your passion, your purpose into all this and create a brand out of it. For example, I have been so tired, Richard, I won't lie to you. I've been so tired. Even the advertisement for this session I sent out yesterday. But this is something I enjoy doing so much that I will not let a week pass without doing it. Even if I have to call Richard and say, Richard, please make sure that you're handling the session by yourself. I will. But this session has to take place every Tuesday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. is a decision that is made. So even for you, make sure that you understand your personality, make sure you understand your passion, and discover your purpose. And sometimes the purpose is something that you keep discovering as you go along. So don't sweat at it. Oh my God, what is my purpose? No. So on personality, you can Google DISC assessment. It has, I'm recommending this because first of all, Profiles International do a summary of your, including the actual things that your personality can be aligned to in terms of career as well. So if you do that, then you understand yourself, you understand what you're made for, and then you can now start launching your brand.
Thank you very much, Grace, for providing us with the tools to assess our competencies, which will catapult our personal brands. You've mentioned that one of the C's, that is consistency, is the one actually, which is one of the key building blocks in maintaining your personal brand. And most people start with fanfare. As you've given a timeline of 3 months, they are completely out of fuel, so to speak. How do we generate that consistency? How do we know that our consistency is not irrelevant? You know, you can be consistent but irrelevant. How do you make sure that your consistency is valuable? How do you make your consistency is answering to certain problems? Because you are a brand in answering client challenges, or you're providing certain solutions. So your consistency has to provide solutions. How do we make sure that our consistency is not going to run out of fuel?
That would be very easy to answer. You have to do something that you enjoy doing. You know the way, I don't know whether it's Richard Branson who says, if you do something you enjoy, it will never be work. You have to do something you enjoy. Whatever it is that you enjoy, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is that you enjoy. If you enjoy HR, let people know that you're the best HR that there ever was. If you enjoy, in HR, you enjoy job evaluation, become the best job evaluator. And normally we say, before you get value for your brand, you have to teach people the value of your own brand. That is my quote. Hey, I sound like a philosopher. Tuendelee, Richard.
Aren't you? Aren't you a love of wisdom? Aren't you a love of wisdom, Grace? Because knowledge is power, actually, that you cannot say I'm a personal brand and you do not have content, because you've mentioned that part of building a brand is creativity, and creativity is more or less research on knowledge. How do we accumulate the knowledge for creativity and making sure that the content we are creating is relevant? What mechanisms or strategies, so to speak, can we use that because like right now, you have got to consistently say, oh, I'm going to choose Y and X to become a presenter. That is content creation. How do you make sure that the content you're creating is good and relevant?
You have to read. You can't run away from reading. You have to read. You also have to network. You have to stay in a room with people who talk about quality things. We call them quality, only quality people.
Only
OQM,
quality people.
OQP, only quality people. So hang out with only quality people. They'll teach you a thing or two, and you realize, wait, there's actually an opportunity here. So networking, being able to identify opportunities, or being able to identify the issues or the problems that people are going through and finding a solution, being part of the solution. I normally say, if you are a person who only sees problems, you really can build a brand of only seeing problems, a complainer. And a lot of people don't like being associated with complainers. So you have to be part of a solution. So as you're coming up with your brand and you want to be consistent, and this is personal branding, not organization, because organization takes a bit of a different turn. But personal branding, you have to read, you have to network. You also have to be intentional, or rather just remind yourself why you started it in the first place. And because sometimes it gets hard and you have to choose doing the right thing. Even, I mean, you show up no matter how you feel. So it can get very tough. I can tell you, it can get very, very tough. There are spaces you find yourself and you're like, my God, am I even in the right place? And you're here, you're expected to actually demonstrate your brand value as a person. So you have to read a lot. You also have to listen, learn to listen. And also you have to network with only quality people so that they can also support you in your quest to build a brand. I don't know whether you have something else to add.
I'll say that you're responding very well, and I'm sure people are learning. And those who have questions or comments, you can put them on a chat. Now, you mentioned a very important concept. That there is a relationship between personal branding and networking, because we are told that if you want to elevate your brand, you must be able to network so that you can increase your net worth. Some people have a challenge in how do I network? Some networking requires money. How do I network such that I do not have to expense myself before takeoff? You know, the challenge of takeoff. So how do you network so that you can be able to?
Okay. So networking, we've done a session on networking before. Anyone who wants to know about networking, we have that on our YouTube channel. However, when it comes to networking, and I've seen my friend Claire saying, how do we show up on the 18th for networking for us introverts? The thing is, networking is something you have to do intentionally. And unfortunately, when you say that it's hard to network, it's actually a mindset problem. It is not hard to network. Sometimes you just need to show up in a room and people will come and talk to you. You don't have to go and talk to them. Sometimes you just have to show up in the room. And especially if you struggle with networking, you have to intentionally get out of the house and go to the place where people are meeting. Now, for the people who think that it's expensive, it's not that expensive. In all honesty, there are so many free opportunities that you can get. Networking does not also mean that you have to get out of the house and go to a networking event. No, networking is also on social media. So for those people who like being behind the screens and are very good at writing, you go ahead and come up with a blog and start sharing your blog posts. You don't even have to use your real name. You come up with a brand name. And you keep writing and writing and sharing your writings, and people start associating with you. You know, the case of Biko, the guy who writes. He just started writing his stories. And before long, everyone started reading Biko's stories. So you have to also identify, like I said, yourself, and then be intentional about how do I want people to know about this? That is part of networking. For some of us, we enjoy going to events. So even if I am broke and there's an event that is charging 1,000 or 500 shillings, I will be there. I will so be present in that event. And by the way, about networking, anytime you're told to pray, you know, I keep seeing at somebody says, who in the room can open for us with a word of prayer, and everyone goes under. My friend, that is an opportunity to brand yourself. So you take that microphone, introduce yourself, and then pray. That is an opportunity for networking. It doesn't take too much effort for some. Of course, for some, it's a lot of effort. So sometimes you just show up, go and stand at the cocktail table. Just sit there. Somebody is going to come and talk to you. Or somebody will come and stand next to you, and then you can start a conversation. But then don't limit yourself. Some of these things are mental. They're actually all in your head. So network. Some of you are in WhatsApp groups and no one does anything. Some of them are silent followers.
Silent followers.
Silent followers, yes. And you never even react to a conversation. And then you keep wondering, how are these people growing their brand like this? Yes. Yeah. So you have to be very, very intentional about the brand. And then there's also networking in terms of joining professional bodies and actually appearing for their activities. Yeah. For example, in IHRM, there are all these free webinars. Log in and start asking questions, and make sure that you consistently log into the free sessions. We have the session here today, and this happens every Tuesday. Yeah. Don't be a silent follower. You have an opinion, even if you think it's gonna sound stupid. You have, even if it's sending emojis, just let us brand you as the emoji guy. You know,
James Mulia has said that silent followers to be secure. Yes. Now, the other question is, Grace, you mentioned about you're in Nakuru, and you've had occasion to meet one of the fans of Get It Right Tuesdays, and they have given you feedback. And one of the most feared things in this life is feedback, especially when it's not supportive of what you're doing. And most of the brands die at their stillbirth because of probably people are fearing. How do you manage to overcome feedback? And we are told, you know, that feedback is food for champions. How do you manage to overcome criticism, for example?
You have to sit back and take the positive in the feedback, okay? You have to sit back and remove the person, because the reason why we fear feedback is because we associate the person and the feedback we get. Have you ever said nakimeniambia? You've ever heard of that? And sorry, our Ugandan followers. My friend Herbert Zake is my good friend. I know you're on the call. Thank you very much for joining us, and thank you for sharing our flyers. So Herbert knows Swahili, but for our Ugandan followers, the people, we have to remove the person from the feedback. Okay, it is never personal. It is never personal. So remove the person who has given you this feedback from this conversation, and evaluate the conversation and see, wait, this is actually meaningful feedback. Is there something I can do about it? In fact, that is my way of doing it. Yeah, I normally sit back and ask myself, I have received feedback. It is negative feedback. Is it really negative? Then I say, okay, so those were my emotions interfering with this feedback. So it is not negative feedback, it is positive, or it is constructive feedback. So what is it that about this feedback that I can do now? And I say, yes, something, no, nothing. So if there's nothing I can do about it, thank you for the feedback. Maybe eventually I'll do something about it. I have received a lot of feedback for people who are saying they're Muslims, they cannot join us before 8:30. They would like us to start way after 8:30. But I say, okay, fine. We're in season 3, we're halfway. We are not able to actually start at 8:30. Thank you for the feedback. We're going to reevaluate and see whether it actually works. So feedback, remove the person who's given you that feedback from it, remove yourself from that feedback, and then evaluate. Is it constructive feedback? Yes. Is there something you can do about it now? Yes, do it. Is there something you can do about it now? No. Pack it somewhere because it's gonna come back at some point.
Thank you, the model of choice. What I've just remembered is recently I did a video and I said that if you want to be a great woman or you want to be a great man, that is the alpha male, alpha woman, or I value woman, which is a brand, how you want to brand yourself. And somebody said, Richard, I am doing all those, being passionate, being a person who has action-oriented approach to things, but I'm not moving ahead. What I'm trying to ask is this: how do we scale up? Because once you build a brand, you got to be able to escalate it. You've got to move it up a notch higher. You do not have to say, okay, if I had, in the beginning, I used to have my friends only. Now I want to expand my circle to a larger extent. How do you scale up? How do you upscale your brand upwards?
So you got to evaluate your brand. Where are we now? Okay. For example, before April this year, we were only in Kenya. After April, we have become regional. So you have to decide, we are here now. What is my entry to the expansion? How can I get to the next level? Okay. For me, it's normally choose topics that are relevant to the next level. Yeah. So if I realize that we have not connected with entrepreneurs for long, we do a topic for entrepreneurship. If I realize we have left HRs out for a while, we do a topic on HRs. You know, so you have to decide where you now, evaluate where am I now, and then where do I want to go, and then what is my entry to that level? Because as well, consistency is another thing that will take you there. Because the more consistent you are, the more traction you gain. But make sure that the brand you're building is actually valuable. Let's not forget the word valuable, because some people build a brand that has no value. Yeah. Make sure that you're creating a brand that is consistent with value, either perceived or real. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for telling us that a brand has got to go up. It doesn't have to remain in the same place where it started when taking off. Now, I'm thinking once you expand, once you become bigger, okay, you will choose a team that will help you because you cannot do everything. How do you decide that this person is important to my brand? In HR speak, talent acquisition and talent management. How do you decide that this person, Catherine, is a good fit for me, Kevin is a good for me? How do you decide? Because that synergy, that strategic alliances, how do you decide?
Okay, I'm fortunate enough to be HR, so I can spot talent. I spot talent very quickly. So that I might be biased in answering that, but you got to see what can this person, but then there are people who actually work with me behind the scenes and no one knows about them. Yeah. You got to decide, this person has this value and they can add to my brand in 1, 2, 3 ways. And there's this thing that I normally see, and allow me to tell you this, and it might come out, I don't know, I hope it doesn't come out as arrogance. Whenever you're creating a brand or whenever you're looking for people to support your brand, make sure you have something that you're offering them first before you ask them to offer you something. This is rule 101 of networking. Offer something first before you ask to take something, okay? So I see a lot of people saying, can you do this for me? Can you do this for me? Many people may not be able to, but how to make sure that people are actually doing that thing for you is offer them help, okay? Be there for them, offer them help, be a support in some way. For example, right now, I appreciate Herbert Zake with my whole heart. He's in Uganda and he shares our flyers everywhere, okay? Within his networks. And he's a guy with like 5,000 people. And no, we connected at a networking session, okay? And he realized that what we are doing can add value to his people, and I can also get value from him. So we became a mutually beneficial relationship, yeah? So you have to be very keen about the people you choose. I said, I will be biased. I'm HR, so I can pick talent, unfortunately. So I probably can also give tips. Look at people, look at their skills and see how their skills are tied to your brand. I met Catherine at a time when we were considering becoming inclusive. So I just went to Catherine directly and asked Catherine, would you volunteer to do this? And Catherine said, yes. Yeah. I have Richard. I say, Richard, I need support. So you have to look at your support system and see how they come in. We are planning the end of year. We have people who have never been seen here, yeah, who are working behind the scenes to make sure the event comes together. So you have to look at your circle of friends. You remember I said OQP, only quality people. Look at your friends and see how they can also form part of your puzzle. And please note, you're not using them. It's got to be a mutually beneficial relationship, yeah? So you offer something and they'll give you something. Even when it comes to choosing mentors, you have to choose a mentor who is way higher than you, yeah, who is way above you, so that every time the goalpost is moving, You cannot choose a mentor who you're on the same level, because a mentor is supposed to help you elevate. So you cannot choose a mentor who you're on the same level. You need a mentor who will help you take the next staircase. So every time I've seen somebody talking about needing a mentor. Every time you're choosing a mentor, make sure you choose a mentor who is way above you, so that you can keep growing with them to that scale. Don't choose, if you want to become a CEO, make sure you choose a mentor who is a CEO or above that. If like now, right now, I am a new board member. I was appointed this year. I'm here trying to think, I need somebody to guide me on how public service boards work, because my strength is in the private sector. So some of these things, we are evolving creatures. Some opportunities come to you and you will always need somebody better than you. So at that point, you need to choose higher and choose higher. I remember there's a friend of mine I was telling, by the way, and Milka, you're on this call, you better take that coaching course. She has such good talent in teaching people on one-on-one. Never ask her to go in front of people. She's gonna die. But one-to-one, she is excellent and she gives excellent advice. She's very organized. She teaches you pole pole. That one would be excellent to become a coach. So you have to identify these talents and see how they fit into your puzzle.
That is very good. You've given us very good highlights, salient
The silent followers.
Now, the question I want to ask, having decided who are going to be the team members, having assessed your key competencies, having decided what kind of value proposition you are going to present to the public, there is the question of competition, and I can see the question about competition. How are you going to deal with competition? Because what you decide to offer, somebody else will decide to offer also. How do you decide that my personal brand is going to have a competitive edge, a competitive advantage over certain brands? Soon we are going to have copycats of what you started. So,
they tried.
Yeah. So how do you manage to overcome that issue of competition? Because competition, of course, it will always be there. How do you deal with competition?
Number one, competition is healthy. It's really, really healthy. It's good to have competition because they keep you on your toes. Do not fear competition. Competition makes you go the extra mile. So competition is very healthy. Now, how do you deal with competition? So first of all, is accepting that competition is healthy and you actually need competition to keep moving. Number two is value. Define your value. Define your value. Number three is consistency. So you accept that competition is healthy. The more competition you have, the better. Now because you can now define your edge. Number two, value. what is the value that you're creating? What is the value that you're offering? Number 3 is consistently keep doing it, because what differentiates you from everyone else is the value you offer and how consistently you do it. And you talked about get it right. Do you know how many people in 2020 tried to do webinars, including now? Do you know how many people are still doing consistent webinars for free? None. So you have to decide, this is my cutting edge. This is what is going to be unique about my brand. This is what I'm going to do better than everyone else. Yeah. And then make sure that your brand, whatever it is you're creating, the value and the consistency is also aligned to your passion, because it will help fuel you. It will help you do what it is that you want to do, even when you're tired, because you have made a commitment. And then accountability. I am accountable to my followers. I'm accountable to the people who tune in every Tuesday, who have put alarm clocks every Tuesday at 8 p.m. I have to keep accountable because they are waiting for me to deliver something. So, and there are people who are accountable. Like there's a lady I try to support, because she'll put up a post one, then she'll disappear. Then next week, 2-3 weeks from now, she's gonna come back and try. And you realize, wait, this is actually somebody who is trying to get around this. So accept that competition is good, it's healthy, it will keep you on your toes. Number 2, define your value proposition. Number 3, consistency.
And of course, you said one of the C's, creativity and innovation. You keep on continuously innovating, keeping your brand fresh and more attractive and seductive, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, and also let me add, Richard, on competition. You actually realize that everyone has their audience. So whatever brand you come up with, there are people who are going to come for you. I used to work in an organization that sells a bed for $1 million bob. And every time I said that, people used to be like, what do you mean? Does it come with dreams? But they sell. They have employed over 200 people in this country. But they have a bed for $1 million shillings and they have their own clients. So we are 50 million Kenyans, honestly. Do not worry about competition. Make sure you're creating value and be consistent at it, and your niche will be mapped out.
Thank you. I've seen Damaris has added the X factor. You need to add the X factor to your brand. Now, we have spoken about talent assessment, that is assessing your competencies. We have spoken about dealing with competition. Why should I create a personal brand? There has to be return on investment. Why should I create a personal brand? Why can't be a silent follower and let life flow?
That's a very interesting question. Why would you create a personal brand? One, you have to be, the world is very competitive. Let's just be honest. The world is very, very competitive. So you have to have a differentiator. You know, when I was starting the business, I used to say, I need to work so hard that I don't go looking for business, business looks for me. That was my drive, yeah? And unless you build a brand, business will not look for you. You will always be out looking for business, yeah? So you sometimes have to combine. So you have to define your unique proposition. And then if you want to grow, you have to be in positions where people are growing. You cannot be a silent follower and then wish for growth. It's not gonna come. It's not gonna happen. You have to go and get it. Allow me to use this in Swahili. I've seen people from TZ. Lazima kujituma. You must, direct translation, send yourself. You must go for it. You must aim to go for it, because competition has come. And like when we're training salespeople, we normally say, we are at an age where customers don't come to, customers don't come to you. Remember back in the day, somebody had a shop, a kiosk somewhere, and people used to just go and shop. Nowadays, you go to the customer because competition is very stiff. So if you want to, why should you build a brand? Because work will not come to you for those who are growing their career or for those who are running a business. The work will not come for you. You have to go out there and get it. So for the return on investment is you have to position yourself. You have to be, people have to be able to identify with your brand so that then they can bring you business. Yeah. They can also bring you favor. Like yeah, you can keep growing, you can keep expanding. Yeah.
Thank you very much. There's a person who's asking a question about how do you identify your passions? Probably you have multiple passions. How do you identify your passion?
Wow. That's a very, okay, for me, mine was very easy to identify. I'm a journalist. You probably would need to go for coaching for you to work with somebody to identify your passion. But as well, you have to sit and analyze what is the one thing that you actually do easily? What is the one thing that you do even if you're not being paid? What is the one thing that you do without getting tired? You know, Anwa Monje loves being at the gym. She loves working out. She's in karate, she's with what? That is something she's very passionate about. And then she also loves HR. And she's been able to identify that, wait, this is something that I actually enjoy doing. So passion is something that you enjoy doing, and probably it's not making you money now, but it's gonna make you money maybe when you position it to bring you money, if money is your drive. But for me, my passion is something that creates impact. And for me, it's information, and I hate ignorance. I get pissed off when I see ignorance. So for me, the more informed I am, the better I believe we get. Ignorance has no defense, but information is power. That is my passion. I'd like to change the world through information. That is who I am. So you have to identify what is this thing that you are very good at, that you would do easily, whether you're being paid or not.
That's very good. That's very good response. Now, the question is, in journalism, we have something called writer's block, a point where you reach and everything fizzles out. You're good in what you're doing, but that moment, some things fizzle out. How do you manage this? Even passion is like fuel. It can get exhausted. How do you refuel?
Oh yeah, you get a writer's block, and that is where your support system comes in. That is where you realize you need people who you can talk to. You ought to identify a support system and realize who are these people who can walk this journey with me. Yeah. And realize that, okay, when in a creative, okay, I belong to the creatives group. So some of us, sometimes we realize it's not coming. It's not coming. It's you're not getting a breakthrough.
The cow has refused.
The cow has refused. So on those moments, you reach out to your support system. You know, you even sometimes reach out to competition and say, by the way, I'm not getting through this. Please help. And they'll be able to help, you know. So you have to rely on your support system on those days, or actually do something that is fun. For me, I walk in nature. Whenever I get writer's block and I have some time and there's somewhere in nature, I walk in nature and I can tell you I'll find something. But if that is not happening and there's no time for that, I reach out to Richard, I reach out to Damaris, I reach out to Kuresha, I reach out to Jen Mutisia, I reach out to all these people, their support system. So sometimes you ought to actually just rely on people, but as well, also find out what works for you. Like I said, sometimes I will go walk in nature. A lot of trees and nature just opens up my mind. So whenever I get a writer's block, I want to go in nature. But if I cannot, I'm going to reach out to the support system.
Grace, as a person, moderator of choice, what has personal branding brought to you?
Oof. What has it?
Because that's the juice part. After you've done house building is to live. Now, what has personal branding? Because that is the sweetest part.
It has brought me something that is very invaluable. Impact, changing lives. That has been my biggest win. Number two, the reminder to stay humble. The reminder to realize that there is such a bigger thing, bigger than yourself, bigger than whatever it is that you have ever believed in. Yeah. So the first one has been impact. There are people's lives. There's somebody an anonymous person who reached out and said, Grace, you saved my life. I was about to commit suicide and da, 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 da. That keeps me going. You know, a friend of mine was telling me, the uncle was saying the only way they survived through COVID was because of Get It Right. That is impact. For me, the biggest gain out of all my passion and my brand has been impact, being able to change lives, being able to realize my purpose. That has been bigger, yeah? And then, of course, it has also brought for me friends. I have been able to make friends who are actually great, awesome friends, who cheer me up every time I am down, who actually walk the journey with me, valuable friends. And of course, it has also helped me build my business, yeah, in terms of clients. So it has also brought about growth in terms of my business, in terms of financially. So by my most important gain of personal brand has been impact, being able to change lives. That has been a win.
Wow, because that is the icing in the cake. That is the crown in the jewel. The juice, after you've had all that pain, after you've done the analysis, after you overcome competition, after you've built a wonderful team, you want to enjoy the benefits of a personal brand. We had agreed that today we are going to shut the doors at exactly 9, unless there is a burning question.
Before we shut, please remember we have to do
the
yeah. But yes. Maybe there's something that I can also add. The one thing that you always have to look at is have retrospect. Always go back and reevaluate yourself. You're gonna make mistakes when you're creating your brand. For sure, you're gonna make mistakes. But it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes while at it, yeah? But you must always go back and reflect and realize the lessons that you have, the lessons that you get from the mistakes that you're making, yeah? So make sure that you're always looking back to see, where have I come from? Where am I going? And then if you've made a mistake, of course, forgive yourself. I tell you, when you start writing and when you start being out there, there are people you're going to hurt, and they're probably going to come gun blazing. So you ought to be very careful about the brand you create, and then be also ready for whatever it is that comes with your brand. You know, sometimes today, I told you I'm in Nakuru. Today I'm in the washroom. Somebody says, "Hi, Grace Nzula," and I'm like, oh my God.
You're not going to have your good time in silence, right?
You know, so you have to be ready for whatever it is that comes with this brand. Yeah. So you have to make very intentional decisions about what you're creating and how it goes. But most importantly, just know the purpose for your brand. Just identify why your why. Purpose is normally your why. What is your why in this brand? After you identify that, then keep moving, keep going. And then again, a challenge to you guys, if you're starting up a brand, just make sure that you're going to be very consistent about your brand. Don't think about Sijui competition, Sijui Richard is doing, Sijui Catherine is doing, Sijui Damaris is, don't. Just do you. Do you, the world will adjust.
Now, there is an operational question that people I can see from Uganda, they could like to have a place where they see the topics. Is there a place that they can go and check topics as you move along?
So we have a YouTube channel. We have, I don't know where my team is today. We have a YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is Get It Right with Atara Solutions. I'm trying to copy paste it. Just 1 second. So if you want to see any of the sessions that you might have missed, then we have
even the ones that are going to come as well.
Yes, all the sessions on every Tuesday. Of course, they will be on our YouTube channel. And of course, we have a WhatsApp group. I am gonna have to find the link to the WhatsApp group. You can join us on WhatsApp. But before we finish this, you know, Richard, we need to give people their
yes.
There's a giveaway from Frank of Pathways International for you guys to get trained for free. And I'm sure one of them is branding. So do not worry about it. Meanwhile, can we do the gift as we do?
Yes, Grace, we can absolutely do it.
Okay, I'm trying to open the.
Somebody is repeating that the world will adjust when you are trying to.
Yes, do you? The world will adjust.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone with another question as I open this one, Richard?
Let me look for the questions or comments. Yeah, Joseph, webinars are always on Tuesdays. Yeah, Wycliffe, Dunde, yeah, the parting shot, do you, so long as it solves certain problems. Tabi Mbogwa, Grace, the first meeting you, I'm impacted, your energy is contagious. Yes, enthusiasm, zeal is very important to building an enduring brand. Hussein has said, Grace and Richard, this is a job well done. Jane Olago, she has said that you're my mentor. You know, that could be an indirect and virtual mentor, and make a point of coming to the meet and greets.
Yeah, have you told them you've already paid? And Catherine has been paid for by Frank, my friend.
Yes. Please
miss
come
that event at your own peril.
Mm.
All right, I can go ahead and read the offers from Pathways.
Yes, Grace, you can go right ahead and do it.
So for you, our followers, we have an offer from Pathway Solutions. We have call center training on LMS. This is for individuals, call center training. We have anger management, LMS. We have conducting performance reviews, that is on LMS, performance management on LMS, and managing personal finances. This is on LMS. LMS is learning management system where you actually learn by yourself. And this, to be able to win this, you get to send me an email and copy Frank, or send to Frank and copy myself, and get a chance to win. Make sure that you indicate why you deserve this win for the win by Pathway Solutions. So for the individual, you choose 2 of the above training. That is call center training, anger management, conducting performance review, performance management, and then managing personal finances. And then for companies, if you're a HR here, or a manager, or an entrepreneur, your company can be trained for free. And this will be for 10 companies. So please send us an email. Yes.
Frank is saying that the offer that you're reading is not the one that he had given you. Probably is the one
dear.
that, sorry
This is
for
from last weekend.
Mm.
All right. Just give me a second. I'll try and find that one.
Jen, we appreciate, and part of being a great brand is appreciation of quality. So Jen, we appreciate your feedback. Joanne Major, the WhatsApp group link has been shared. Maybe I should reshare it again.
Yeah, if you can copy paste it.
There it is. You can join so that you keep yourself abreast with what is happening in the world of getting it right.
Okay, all right. I think Agatha
is saying nobody should miss this dinner. Jen, I'm sure you are here. I'm sure you are going to come in your very African touch. Milka, I hope you have African touch pieces of cloth. Yeah.
African touch means earrings for the women as well. You don't have to strain, but it has to have an African touch. Eh?
Yes.
Yeah.
Margaret Getau, we appreciate your gratitude. Thank you very much.
All right. Before everyone runs off, we have the individual trainings. I apologize for the other ones. We have mental health well-being. This is on Google Meet. This is for individuals, 500 people. Frank, I think you got to be giving us the dates so that people can join. Otherwise, these 500 people will fill my emails. Please write this to Frank alone. Managing finances, Google Meet, maximum 5 people. Okay. Well, Frank, I think you and I need to speak about this 500 people thing. But for now, let's do managing your corporate brand, personal branding, LMS, and emotional intelligence. those three, as Frank and I align on the two. Sorry, I had not opened this. I think I got the wrong one. But you can get a chance to be trained for free on managing your corporate brand, personal branding, and emotional intelligence on the learning management system. This is where you learn by yourself, you self-pace. And then where is the other one? For companies, there's personal branding, managing your corporate brand, business succession planning, risk management, coaching and mentoring, and customer relationship management. Sorry. So this is for companies. These trainings are delivered either on Zoom or on Google Meets. Personal branding, managing your corporate brand, business succession planning, risk management, coaching and mentoring, customer relationship management. Please take advantage of this offer. You must email us within the next 7 days and give us a reason why your company needs to be trained on this. So we are going to copy paste my email and Frank's email on the chat shortly. I don't know whether any of my team is able to do that. If not, I will do it shortly. However, please take advantage. For company, it's mental health. No, company is what? Personal branding, managing your corporate brand, business succession planning, risk management, coaching and mentoring, customer relationship management. For individuals, is managing your corporate brand, personal branding, and emotional intelligence. This is done on LMS. Please make sure you include a paragraph on why you should win these free sessions. So we are going to put the emails on chat. Robert, Richard, somebody is asking for the Nini.
I've given it. I've given it.
For the chat.
Yeah, I've given it.
Okay,
No, but the link is there. I've posted it several times. It's there.
Frank, you can share your email. I'm not able to copy paste. So we have put the email on the chat. atarasolutions.co.ke. And then Frank will put his on the chat. Please email us for a chance to get trained for free by Pathway Solutions. We appreciate your partnership. Thank you for offering to pay full expense paid trip for Catherine from Mombasa to Nairobi to support us in making us inclusive for the meet and greet. Back to you, Richard. You know, I keep forgetting.
Chris,
I'm not.
You've been wonderful. You've been wonderful. You've been exceptional. You've been able to really generate very good insights into how to manage and create an enduring brand. It was an MPA in brand management. We appreciate the impact you're causing. Secondly, I would like to appreciate the people. You know, a brand cannot be a brand if it doesn't have audience. The audience has been very, very, very instrumental in making this a success. We now have people from TZ, we have people from UG, we have people from Congo, DRC. There's a priest who never misses. We appreciate you are the ambassadors of the product of the certificate. This has been your hosts, Richard J. Magoma. I am a motivational speaker and HR trainer. Until next time, may God bless you. It is always a beautiful moment for you to grab an opportunity. Bye-bye and have a wonderful night.
So before people go, can we also say thank you to our partners, Balcon Housing, Stallion Construction Company Limited, Pathway Solutions, WeClean, Kapula Mintito, the Career Management Center, Blue Concepts Africa, Profiles International, Institute of Pension Management, and then we have Fina Gardens, and we have Ames College of Business, and who else have I left out? And please see you on the 18th of November at the Weston Hotel. Richard, Florence is still asking whether you have shared the link. Maybe you can copy paste for her in her inbox, I think.
Yeah,
so she can get it directly. I think it got consumed in the chat. So I hope you guys are booking for meet and greet on the 18th of November at the Weston Hotel. Dress code is African Touch. Richard ashaenda kwa fundi, Catherine ashanunua nguo. Please do not be left out. And if you're able to come, please let us know, because we will be sharing the link for registration as well. So please come, we network, we enjoy, we find a way to do these things. Somebody is still asking for the WhatsApp link, but thank you so much for our audience for being here. Thank you very much for always showing up. We really appreciate, and we are honored to have you. And I hope you have learned. I think I will listen to this one after. I hope you have learned. I hope this was, it's going to help you create your brand. For our Facebook followers, thank you very much. Please share the courses again. Please email us so that we can share the whole thing, and then you can choose later. But yeah, I was looking at the Facebook comments to see whether we have anything. Right. Okay. Sawa. I think we are good on to that extent. So, oh yeah, I was trying to look. Richard, have you seen the Facebook, the Get It Right link?
The one for WhatsApp. Yeah, I've shared it. It starts with hi there. Anybody who cannot see it, yeah, it starts with hi there. Just copy and.
No, this is not the WhatsApp link.
Oh, this one is which one?
This is for the Zoom.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry.
Yeah, that is the Zoom link. My WhatsApp web is not cooperating with me. But maybe what you can do, you can send me an email at grace@atara.solutions and we'll be able to share the link. I think that is the quickest solution to this. But thank you so much for being an audience. Thank you, Richard, for being an excellent host. And we shall see you next week. We have a few sessions to go for November. We are excited. I know part of the last sessions will be how do you protect yourself mentally during the holidays? You know, when, like Richard, when he goes home, he will be asked, where is the wife? And
you have to embarrass me. All right. Okay.
You know, Catherine will be asked, where are the children? And you have no answer. You know, some of these things. Everyone wants a present from you and you're broke. So we are going to discuss how to protect yourself mentally on the holidays and also during the holiday pressure. That is, I think, how we are going to almost end the session. But other than that, I think we are good to go. We can play music as we figure out the exit. But thank you so much for being a wonderful, wonderful audience. Please follow us on Instagram, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Like our Facebook page, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. For those of you who are saying they want to review the video, it's gonna be on our YouTube channel, Get It Right with Atara Solutions. Please subscribe and leave us a comment. Thank you very much for being here. We love you. We are going to be here again next Tuesday, same time, same place, as we discuss another valuable topic. Have yourselves a good night.